The following event is produced by WCSN, the home of world champions.
Well, that's the lineup for the women's quadruple sculls. And if you'll excuse our partisanship, a little bit of our focus is going to be on Great Britain. A fabulous win out in Gifu.
You can see the plastic shoe there, which holds the, or boot, which holds the bow ball back. So nobody can get an early advantage in this, because if you push against that shoe before the starter says go, you just bounce backwards. So it drops and off they go.
And off they go, and obviously, Hugh, Great Britain's success last year means that now there's a determination to remain unbeaten and to make sure that they dominate this race.
Well, the camera is on them, and these were finished first, second, third and fifth in the women's single sculls trials, and this is the #1 boat for sculling for Great Britain, led by Paul Thompson, the women's chief coach.
But I'll ask you a question. Can you remember in the 10 years of World Cup racing, here we are at a German venue, and there is no German women's quad in the race?
I cannot remember such an event. It is quite extraordinary. Actually, I think we probably could when they weren't there because they hadn't entered. What is extraordinary is that they can't put one in the water. Now, this is actually a straightforward phenomenon of the way German rowing developed. When it was two nations, the DDR and West Germany, then the DDR had a tremendous system and brought on a crop of athletes who dominated this event. Long after the unification of Germany in 1989-90, they continued, because that was the tradition. They'd been brought up from a young age, and they held their pole position in women's quadruple sculling under the coaching of Jutta Lau, who was also a product of the same system herself, right the way up. But that generation has now moved into retirement. We were talking about Katrin Boron and Katrin Rutschkau. Those are the only two remnants of that generation, and they're in retirement themselves, at least for now. And so we're looking at a new world, and that new world order has shown Great Britain up front for last year, and the way they're going at the moment, not looking too bad for this year.
Yes, but there's no respecter of traditions, and Australians will be first to tell you that, particularly when they're taking on a British crew. And it is, at the moment, Sally Kehoe with Dana Folletic and Sonia Mills and Catriona Sens, who on the near side in lane 6 are really showing that they're a force to be reckoned with. You've got two from the bottom of your picture. You've got the first Chinese crew, then Russia, who are just to the left of Great Britain the right as you look at them now, and they are pretty close. And those three crews, there's not more than a quarter of a length between the three of them.
No, quadruple sculls is a fast-moving boat. You don't get large margins. We've had excellent racing all through the day, suggesting that all of these crews are of a very similar stage in their preparation, same sort of standard at this time of year. But I think that quads, it's extremely difficult to build up a lead of more than a couple of seconds. And if you looked at the Olympic final in Athens, there was absolutely nothing across the entire field.
Coming to the half distance in the women's quadruple sculls, and on the near side, Australia leading narrowly from Great Britain, the world champions. Russia just on their inside in third place, ahead of the first of the two Chinese crews, then Romania, and the second Chinese quad in 6th place at the moment. But it's a very tight race, and Australia with an advantage, but not a huge one. As you see now, the British begin to surge now in this third quarter, and they're beginning to move, Hugh.
Yes, on the times, the split times, Great Britain was faster than Australia in that second 500, and I think that they will want to get in front now. But it's a healthy respect they will show to the Australians, because this is not at all an inexperienced crew. Sally Kehoe in stroke, she was a bronze medalist in the double scull last year, and this is a serious boat put together to mount a serious challenge against the world champions. World champions, I think, looking actually quite comfortable. Debbie Flood, although she's a newcomer to the crew technically because Rebecca Romero retired with a back in March. Nevertheless, Debbie has rowed with Fran Houten for all of her career since she was a junior, and she slots straight into this crew, and actually she thinks she should have been in it last year anyway. So I don't think she's going to feel at all out of place, and they are now moving quite sharply in this third 500 over the Australians and taking what looks like a commanding lead. And this is not stressed stuff. This is actually well within the race plan, well within their capacity.
And it's interesting also that the other experienced crew, Larissa Merck and the Russian quad, can do nothing about this at the moment. The last 500 of the women's quadruple sculls. Great Britain now almost by a length at 36 strokes to the minute, moving ahead of Australia, with Russia solidly in third, then China, and the front three have broken away.
This is an extraordinarily wide spread for quadruple sculls. I was banging on about how the men's quad was separated by a couple of seconds over the whole final, and here we have a very, very wide spread indeed. 13 seconds back to Romania, who seem to have faded out of it. They lost 6 seconds in that 500, so I didn't see them catch a crab, but something serious happened, and they're out of it. Now, this is a big wide spread, and it's being spread because the leading crew is just stretching out and really taking command. The Australians have not quit.
Catherine Granger in the stroke seat. We talked about her at the beginning of the race. The achievement record's impressive, but about her personally and her style of sculling.
I think that she's actually a very good leader in this case, because she's been in pairs, because she's both rowed and sculled. She's back and forth between the two events. She's got vast experience. She's very, very tough, and I think the other three are quite happy to let her lead both by example and in the rhythm of the stroke.
And this is now becoming a very impressive victory, and it's a very good day for Great Britain here, because success with Alan Campbell in the men's single sculls, success with Vernon and Bevington in the women's double sculls.
The Olympic champions in eights in 2004 have given 2000 in Athens have given way entirely to sculling. So we've got a men's single, women's double, women's quad. This is Paul Thompson, Australian coach admittedly for the women's quad, and he has made this happen.
In second place it is Australia, but only just. They're being closed on by the Russians, and also coming through the Chinese #1 crew, but it is in fact Australia going through in second place ahead of Russia, but Great Britain the clear and easy winners, and they did the last quarter in 1:39 exactly. Australia 1:40.99 and Russia 1:40.40, and that's a great start to the World Cup campaign, just what they needed.
Indeed, and in Romania in sixth place should not be discounted completely because they were so far behind. This crew is an average of 19 years old. They were juniors last year, and so this is just their introduction to the scene. They were around for a couple of hundred for the first 500 meters, but thereafter they found it hard going. At the front, a very dominant performance by a very cool crew, not panicked when they were down, and people who have put down their marker for the entire season, I would say, by that excellent race.
So well done to Catherine Granger, Frances Houghton, Sarah Winkless, and the new girl, Debbie Flood. Well, still 3 races to go in the regatta for those of you who are with us worldwide. And remember that you can always drop us an email, but here's the official result. Great Britain comfortably by over 4 seconds over Australia. Russia on this day third.
This event was produced by WCSN, the home of world champions.